Want to know what your dog is thinking?
Have a challenging dog behavior you need help with?
The Dish on Dogs is your source for all your canine questions.
Improve your relationship with your dog and deepen your understanding of your furry friend. Right here on the Dish on Dogs.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Dish on Dogs podcast. I'm your host, Jackie Bondanza. I am here today with a very special guest, Abe Dunaway. He is our new Senior Director of Operations and Training, and wanted to have him on the podcast today to talk about his role in Houndstown, our very quick, fast-growing pet care franchise, and just let him share kind of his ideas on the brand and what he's going to contribute, how he's going to help us get to 100 plus units in the next 3+ years. Yeah. So welcome to the show, Abe.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for being here. So why don't we start out by you just kind of talking a little bit about your background. You've had a long career in franchising and in the pet care industry, right? Yeah. So talk a little bit about how you got started in the industry.
Yeah, I came up through a store. It's a concept called Wagon Wash, and at that time it was mostly corporate oriented. So just started, 15 years ago. And it was the first pet care, pet retail related job that I had. And it started as the store manager, and I had management experience, no pet experience. And I just loved working just in that space. You know, of course, working with the animals, that's just a benefit of the job. Right. Providing the, it was more retail versus service oriented. So just, providing those, the items that were truly beneficial. And I see a lot of parallels here where it's, instead of products, it's services that are beneficial to that. So really just filling a need with that. So I really enjoyed that. And then also just being in that public space, like business to consumer space, just pet people in general, so much more pleasant. I had experiences in retail in the past where it's, just more traditional retail, non-pet related, and people tend to be a little grumpier, maybe having bad days. But in that pet space, any day that you're with your pet, and especially dogs is a great day. Right.
And I'd imagine if you're shopping with them, that's exactly. Also fun. It's
exactly.
kind of a double whammy.
Yeah. So I love that too. And that was a big eye opening, like, oh my God, pet people are amazing to work with. Yeah. Coming in. So that's kind of where I started. Managed that store as the brand grew, just kind of grew with it. And that's where, the franchising came in. So at a certain point, the brand focused more on franchising side. Right. So I, went out and was, opened stores and did a lot of the training, how to operate many of the things that, Danielle and Sam are doing now. Thank you.
So you were, as the brand grew, franchisees were coming into the system. Yes. And they needed to be trained how to open stores. Yeah. So because you had that experience, you then became that person who was doing that.
It grew organically into that.
Okay.
So kind of got thrown, my entrance into the franchise world was pretty much a headfirst dive. Yep. Okay.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, right. I know. Yeah. Well, it's what's exciting. It's what I love about here too. We'll get to that.
Right.
Just got thrown in. I obviously knew how to run the store, so franchisees coming in and just teaching them as fast as possible how to get the store up and running and successful. As quickly as possible. I did that. Worked into kind of the business coaching. Yep. The field business coach. And then just through doing that, up through operations. I was director of operations and then VP of operations. And then here I am now. So.
And then we poached you. So I've known Abe for a couple years now.
Yeah.
We've been kind of in the same space together in the franchising space and then also the pet care space. It's such a unique combination.
Yeah, it's meeting. Well, both. We met at IFA, the International Franchise Association conference. God, was it Phoenix or Vegas?
I don't know.
Or
It was a couple years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, right?
So met there, but then, God, maybe 6 months later, 8 months later, met again at Global.
Yep.
Or Super, was it Global or Super Sue?
Anyway. They all start to mesh together at some point.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
You always kind of flock to the people who you know and you're building relationships with, right?
Yeah,
and I think that was part of our initial connection was just being at these events together and sharing in the same industry and working with some of the same people in franchise development. And so for me, like that's where our relationship started, right? And now 3 or 4 years later, you've just come onto the team just 2 weeks ago. Yeah. So it's a journey, It's an interesting kind of career path we're all on here.
Yeah, it really is. Franchising, just like I said, I got thrown into it, but just really quickly fell in love with it. And what I'm learning, I am coming from a, pet franchise experience into another pet franchise experience. Different business models, that one was more retail, grooming, self-wash focused, food, a lot of nutrition and different things. And then for here with the daycare and the boarding. But just those general concepts of franchising in general, best practices for operations or, best ways to do different systems and processes within a business, within the day-to-day are very similar no matter what industry you're in.
Right.
I can imagine a lot of the best practices of running a business would be the same if this was a restaurant or, more of a traditional retail environment.
So explain kind of how you plan to take that experience, right, for the past 15 years in operations and really running a store and apply it to this new position you have at Houndstown for us.
All right. I'm 2 weeks in, so give me a little leeway here. Well, and with that, God, it's been amazing, just to just start learning everything. And it's, been here in Ronkonkoma since Sunday, and really just kind of learning all the nuts and bolts. It's been very eye-opening in an amazing way. We had met, we knew each other and had kind of, stayed in loose communication for several years, but I didn't know that much about the brand,
right?
Until saw the job posting and started getting into it, reading as many articles as I could and
watching as many videos as you could.
I mean, come on, of course.
Endless amount of videos you could watch about us.
The library is out there. Check it out. But until you're in the business and really learning about it. And I think, I sent you a text Monday evening, like, oh my God, it was such a great day. And, I had such a good time. It was, I knew I made a right decision before then, but then, being here Monday in the store for the first time,
it kind of solidified it.
It
it's
really
hard
did.
to envision, it's your job is now going to be to go in and help our franchisees, increase their bottom line and help improve their store operations and share the new revenue streams with them. It's hard. I would imagine it's hard to accept a job like that when you don't even know what a Houndstown looks like, right? You've just seen a picture or video. So you could have shown up and it could have been like an empty field.
Yeah, right. I know, some facade sticking out.
Yeah, like, just a step and repeat.
What is going on? So, and I'm really looking forward to getting out on location. Starting to make contact with franchisees right now. And God, that's so many great people in the system, and everybody that I've communicated with has been amazing. Yeah.
We've got some really great, amazing franchisees that are incredibly successful.
Yeah.
And I think very open to learning new things. Like you mentioned, learning new things as an adult can sometimes be really challenging and hard. And we're asking that of our franchisees, right? We're asking to form this relationship with this new person that you don't know, and they're going to come in and help you identify ways that you can improve your business and your life for yourself and your employees. And I think that takes an incredible amount of humility and self-reflection, and those values are things that we talk about all the time at Houndstown.
Yeah.
And it's so important to have those things as a business owner, and then as, employees of the company, to be able to meet the franchisees halfway.
Well, and I love the honesty piece.
Yeah.
And this was part of your presentation on Monday, and just how important it is with, being honest with the customer or guest coming in, doing an evaluation or a temperament test, and just that honesty really counts. Is this a good fit? Is it not a good fit? Are there different things that, you're seeing that you need to point out? If a dog gets a bruise or scratched, calling immediately, being honest. Here's the expectation, doing that. Being able to do that from, us to the guest in the store, I think is a tremendous, it's parallel to what we need to do, business to business, franchisor to franchisee, just that honesty. Really what I want to do is just bring a fresh set of eyes to everything and just take a look. Obviously, you are the expert on what it takes.
Well, I don't know. That might be a stretch.
Danielle and Sam will definitely leaning on them a lot through this. And even the franchisees, they know what works. They know what doesn't work.
Right.
So for me to come in and just and see that mixed with, what I've learned, the brand standards and different best practices that we have.
Right.
And, how can we work together to make those improvements, to add more money to the bottom line, just be more successful, financially, but also just in their own lives and, making money, but also feeling good about it as well.
That's an important combination.
Yes, it is. Yes.
So what drew you to Houndstown? What kind of drew you to take the role?
Still being in, the franchising space and pet industry space as well. I mean, that's like right there, very appealing. But what I had seen, what we had talked about, and just and knowing you and a little bit about the brand, what I had read and seen online and all the library of videos and the different, podcasts and everything. But also, just the potential and the excitement and the growth of the brand. Yeah. Those were big. Even the business model itself, there's a lot to running a store, and it does, it take a lot to do that.
Yeah.
It's compared to other things that I've seen and been involved with. It's a more simpler model, and I don't want to downplay because I know that
simple is the heart of what we do.
Keeping it simple, definitely. I know that within that, a lot of franchisees are doing a lot, and I don't want to take anything away from that, but that more simple model. And just focus on the dogs. It's you had a slide in the presentation. It was the joint statement between Mike, and then you kind of helped clean it up a little bit. But the customer's always right, but the customer is the dog.
Yep.
And I love that. And that was one of the things that made the biggest impacts. The first time I went through the store is. Yeah, this is about the dog. This is truly about the dogs.
Right.
We have limited contact when they're in the play areas and things because it's not about us or what we want to do or how we want to interact.
Right.
It's about the dogs. It's about proper grouping and that balance. And that made a huge impact.
Good. Glad to hear that. That's kind of been the core of what we do for the past 20 years. So, as we bring on other team members, our team is growing quickly because we're set to open 30 plus stores next year. So you got your work cut out for you.
Very exciting. Yeah.
But, we need to grow our team proportionate to that growth. And it's so important to us that every team member we hire understands what those values are and really believes in them, right?
Yeah.
Because that's just going to be the foundation for your success in going out to the franchisees to be a resource for them, to really understand the heart of our business and what we're looking at. What are we achieving here?
Yeah.
And you mentioned, yes, financial success, of course, but there's also something bigger here that we're doing.
Yeah.
We're doing something bigger that is almost as equally, if not more meaningful to a lot of franchisees, right? They're looking to leave their corporate jobs. They want to control their own destiny. They just want to make a change in their lives. And this is their opportunity to do that. So we have to honor that and help support them through that. And then for the dog piece, for me, it really is the reason why we're doing this. There's been so many stories over the years about how Houndstown has helped change the dog's life.
Yeah.
And allowed customers to keep their dogs when they were potentially thinking about having to give them up. So that to me is that drives everything we do. So
just to hear, what I had read about and then what I've heard, real firsthand accounts of dogs that, timid or leash aggression or didn't deal well, just weren't socialized.
Yep.
And had no experience in that, and to come here and to see and to really change those dogs' lives. And, for the business and for Houndstown itself, to give access to every dog, that every dog has access to a Houndstown, I think is amazing.
So that's our 10-year goal.
Yeah.
A dog in the country, we want to have access to a Houndstown. So that means we've got to build about 1,000 Houndstowns.
Yeah.
So we're at 20 now.
All
so
right,
we've got a ways to go. But we are, we've always been on a more careful and plotted and a little bit of a slower growth trajectory than some of our competitors, but that's been very purposeful.
Yeah.
I always use the tortoise and the hare comparison, right?
Yeah.
We all know who won that race.
That's right.
And so we're coming around the bends, we're coming in hot here, and this is our moment. This is really our time to shine as a brand and as a business. So
for me to be able to have, really the privilege to come in and to help with that just means a lot personally.
Yeah.
And just the things that I've learned and, things that I've put together and just these different systems that can help simplify.
Yes. We like
simplification.
So.
Right. Making everyone's life easier.
Yes. If you can master the art of automated marketing reporting or results reporting or poll reporting, I think the franchisees will. You don't have to do anything else in your life. So
all right,
that's a big task. But,
I know. I know.
So do you have any stories you can think of quickly? And if you don't, that's fine. Of kind of a success story where you worked with a franchisee to overcome, a challenge they were having in their business or related to their business.
Yeah. That's, it's, and I guess I don't need to qualify that much. We'll start talking and see what comes out.
Yeah.
I would say, sometimes my conversations, it's like I'm laying down the concrete as I'm driving down the road.
This isn't live, so don't worry. we can edit. We can bleep you out.
Yeah, you find in the pet industry that a lot of times, there is a lot of interest from people who are very passionate about animals and their own pets and other people, and everything. And they may not have as much true business experience or management. So, kind of coming in and thinking maybe it's more about
playing with dogs all day.
Playing with dogs. Thank you for saying, I was thinking that. I'm like, what's appropriate to say? But yeah, coming in and I would when I was hiring people, at the store level, managing a store, I would make sure, this isn't playing with dogs all day,
Right.
and everything. But you do find that in the pet industry. So it's taking, somebody who absolutely passionate about animals, but just needs that business experience. And one success story that I can think of right off the top of my head is just helping. There was a franchisee that really fell into that category. Mm-hmm. And so, to help get organized to move finances into a P&L statement, and then kind of how to read that and where those numbers fall. And okay, now let's talk about payroll and scheduling, and look at that piece, and just kind of breaking down the numbers and where they can save. Cost of goods sold. This is more of a retail environment, so what is the retail price versus what the cost is? Working on margins, working on
all the not so fun stuff. It's more fun to just play with the dogs.
Well, yes, yeah, this is very true,
but very important. I joke, but very important piece of business is obviously to understand your number, know your numbers, like we say. Yeah. So that's going to be part of your role, is to help franchisees know their numbers and really work with them to achieve their goals and get in there and listen to what they are looking to do with their business, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And being that resource for helping them recognize what they can do to kind of
achieve that. Yeah. Each person has their own Hounds Town story.
Yep.
So it's been nice learning, and it's, to any franchisees who I haven't talked to yet, be prepared. I will, I am coming. I will call, I will email, I will set that.
That's a
Definitely
welcoming.
not.
I am coming.
Exactly. I had a smile on my face. Those listening, might not see it, but so yeah, that's very fascinating to me, the background and what brought you in, and, where we can go from here. What are your goals, and just moving forward with them.
Great. Well, you've got a lot of franchisees to make the rounds too. So I know
Definitely.
we've got a lot going on here at Houndstown, but we are happy you're on board and are going to kind of take the reins in the operations department and help us be the biggest and the best pet care franchise out there. So
absolutely,
we're going to do it.
Yes, we are.
All right. Yeah. Well, thanks for joining.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We will see you next time. Thanks for watching another exciting episode of the Dish on Dogs podcast. You can also watch us on YouTube on the Dish on Dogs podcast. If you're a listener, you can catch us on iTunes, Spotify, and all your other podcast platforms. For more information, click the link in the description. We'll see everybody next time.